We made it. We rolled into town last night about 10 o'clock. So we got up Saturday morning and hit the road at 1 o'clock in Atlanta. 2,290 miles later, we are now in Cutler, California. We stopped late last night at the Lamplighter Inn.
About 10 o'clock.
About 10 o'clock. It's not really a diving motel. The price was actually really nice. I would definitely recommend this place again. They also have the Lamplighter Inn restaurant, and I am very disappointed that we didn't get to try that. So we are going to meet the guy for the truck at 9 o'clock this morning. I've got a list of stuff to do once we get there to look over and outfit it so that we can jump in and drive back home. The trip was out here. It took us 36 hours to get out here. We just drove straight through. There was no real reason to stop. We didn't stop at any tourist traps. I think the only thing we did is we stopped for about a half hour for lunch one day, and the rest of the time we just ate snacks and ate in the car and drank lots and lots of coffee. So that's it. The dogs are doing fantastic. You can see them back in there. They were very happy to get into the hotel room last night. They had absolutely no concept of how to bootleg dogs into a hotel room, which means be quiet. As soon as they hit the ground, they wanted to roughhouse and play and fight and wrestle. So fortunately, we didn't get any knocks on the door telling us to leave. Well, there she is. We got here about half an hour ago. Got it started. It fired right up. But then when we went to restart it, the solenoid is sticking on the starter. Ugh. I just killed his plants. Anyway, the solenoid stuck on the starter a little bit. I think it's because the exhaust pipe is running right next to it, so it's going to have to cool down. Once it cooled down, though, it worked. We checked the radiator fluid. That seemed good. The oil looks brand new. It's got an electric fuel pump on it. And when we first fired it up, it was puking out the vent and filled the top of the intake manifold with gas, so not real happy about that. Hopefully it was just the needle was stuck. It's got this little air filter on it. That is going to go away. Front tires seem to be good. The backs are definitely not going to make the trip home. So, and they're also split rims, which is going to be problematic. So we've actually found a guy already. He's bringing me four wheels, and he said at least two of the tires are real good. That's the gate for the box for the propane tanks. The door is gone, I knew that. Out back, we got one door that's off for the storage compartments. I'll show you the interior in a second. Going inside. It's not horrible. It smells musty, but, you know, kind of expected that. It's old. It is musty. But there doesn't seem to be any real obvious water damage, which is nice. It needs to be cleaned up a lot. The only two places I've seen with anything that looks like it might be an issue, right there, and then up there in that corner. This is above the door. But all the interior wood is press board. And he's got a pile of parts in here and stuff. Chrome split rims. I'll probably bring those home strictly for scrap. Got a stove, an oven, refrigerator.
That was risky.
Andrew says that looks risky. But actually, I think the refrigerator will clean up pretty well. Freezer with ice trays. That's kind of cool. But it's complete. So overall, I really can't complain about it. I'll get into the bathroom in a couple minutes. So the cab, at 62 Chevy trim on the cab, it used to have the sail panels on it. So it was a deluxe cab. But up here around front, it's got a 60 Chevy grill, or 61 Chevy grill. And the VIN, I haven't decoded it yet, but I think we're going to find that it's a 61. These are cool. Passenger side is the only one that's got the door lock. The driver's side doesn't have a door lock. You were supposed to park next to a curb and then slide across the seat. You lock it from the inside. The cab actually looks pretty nice. It's got seat belts in it. Lap belts anyway. And it's a big back window cab, which is cool. CB radio, accessory gauges. They did seem to work. The tack does not work. It's got an extra push button for the starter. And a glove box full of tapes. It's also got the handbrake. This goes on the back of the transmission. It's got a big drum on the back of the trans. Hopefully I won't have to use that driving down the mountains, but at least it's there. And then it's got a 4-speed with granny low. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with the interior. Again, it will clean up really nice. So up on the roof, we've got this thing. It's a vent. Whoever secured this before did a pretty decent job of it. And that roof vent is secured. That roof vent was also secured, so we won't be opening those up on this trip, but it doesn't look like there's any place. I'm pleased with the roof. We are going to fix this when we get home, though. It's going to get rhino lined. But, yeah, so the roof is good. All right, we swapped batteries with the guy. The battery that was in it was just dead. So go ahead and fire it up. Yeah, really not sure what that issue is. I think it's just the solenoid is sticky from sitting for so long. But it runs well. Had a little bit of a lifter tick when we fired it off the first time, and that went away in, I don't know, 30 seconds. So, 396 big block. Does have power steering. Not sure what the howling is or the whining is, but I'm sure we'll figure that out, and if we don't, it'll let us know. I'm happy to see that it's still got the factory fan shroud. Those are always missing, and then that fan shroud tells me that this is the bigger radiator too. The smaller of these trucks, C10 and the C20, if they came with a fan shroud, they had just a little barrel hoop like on 61, 62 Impalas. This one, it's got the full screen or the full shield all around it. So the radiator is, cooling shouldn't be an issue. It does have a Flexolite fan on it though. I'm not a fan of those. But anyway, that's where we are. Andrew just figured this out. Oh, now it fires right up. So, all right, there we go. Not firing. Not exactly sure what that push button is, but I've been around old man rigged electrical systems on vintage cars forever, and there's no telling what some old codger decided was the fix for something, so I'll have to reverse engineer that. Clutch feels good. The brakes are good. I'm not going to hammer on the brakes because that's exactly how I'll end up blowing the brakes, but they feel good. And then it's a granny 4-speed, so granny low, but putting it in second, it starts off the line just real nice in second. Transmission's not making any death noises, which is good. Power steering is on point. Happy about that. I don't have anything looking like turn signals. I've done that before, so not a big deal. One brake light is out. The lens is busted. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find a trailer light that'll fix that, but we'll probably rig something up.
Headlights too.
Yeah, That's right. A couple of the headlights are out. Dude says he's got a couple headlights for it.
Hopefully it's just the bulb.
Oh, there we go. So apparently Granny Low is not synchronized. So if it turns out not to be the bulbs and there's another issue, then that just means that we stop driving when it gets dark out. I'm really not opposed to that either. So this is our maiden around the block trip. So yeah, we're gonna get it. I've done dumber things. Not exactly sure when, but I'm sure I have. Oh, and the mirrors are, I mean, they work. They're not busted, but man, I've been spoiled by modern mirrors. These are very small. So I have to figure something out on that score. Oh man, that doing a U in this thing with that power steering, as long as it gets me back to Georgia, I'm going to be real pleased with that. That was nice. Yeah, I think we own ourselves an RV. Cool. So one of the other things that I loaded into the car after I shot the first video, I went back into the shop and I grabbed an air cleaner, because that is the air cleaner that was on it. It, one, doesn't even have an element in it, but those things are notorious for catching fire. That one, without the element, probably wasn't going to catch fire, but it also wasn't going to filter any air. That came from my swap meet. It was for a 72 Corvette. I ended up buying it before I bought a 72 Corvette because I've always wanted one of these. It had a really nasty chrome air cleaner on it, or chrome air cleaner lid. I ended up going through my stash of stuff when I was loading up and found a nice black air cleaner lid for it. So this is going on. I've got to stop somewhere and get an air filter element for it. But here's the other thing that I just found. This thing still has the factory French locks on it. The front and the back exhaust manifold on both sides. These exhaust manifolds have never been off this car. There's no exhaust manifold gaskets in it. That's the factory mating surface on this engine. I've never seen that before. Every big block I've ever come across, or a small block for that matter, the exhaust manifolds at least have been off of it. This motor's never been apart. All right, so George actually had a pair of headlights, and we've tested them and they work, so that's cool. So the headlights are in. I don't know if they're aimed or not, but I don't really care. What I was really glad to see is the underside of these was in good shape. These chrome trim rings, or the stamped steel painted ones, they always rot out right here, always. So these are good, which means that I don't have to spend another $200 to replace those when I get the thing home. The chrome is flaking off the grill itself, but it's solid. And I could probably have this grill re-chromed. I've got a 60 grill at home. This 61 had this insert in it. That's aluminum. I think I've got one of those at home too. But I know that I've got a good 62 grill, or 60 grill that's complete. I may end up putting that on there. I don't know. And it's got the apparently coveted California black plate for 63. So that was the last plate that was bought for this thing, and it was last registered in 92 from what it looks like, and there's a whole glove box full of registrations. So we are right now trying to get rear wheels. These are split rims. A little irritated. George told me that the back rims were not split rims, but they are, so I'm not going to be able to find a tire shop that will put 16-inch wheels on those. So he's got a buddy, and they're going to see if they can hunt me up a set of 16-inch 8-lug Chevy steel wheels for a dually. So wish me luck. So whenever you buy something old, there's always a list of old man stuff that goes with it, and this one was no different. I brought some stuff, but here's what we've got. Okay, so what we've got is we've got a couple hunks of heater hose clamps, a whole bunch of fan belts. The fan belts that are on it are good. I don't know how old these are, but this should get us off the road if I throw one. Set of new old stock spark plugs, new old stock fuel pump. A lot of times those go bad too, but Again, if my fuel pump dies, at least that'll get me off the road. A set of wheel bearings, I don't know whether they're front or rear. I'm going to assume they're front. I was really glad to see this. Master cylinder. It's a single reservoir for the brakes and a single reservoir for the clutch. So I would like to stop and get a clutch slave on the way home. Those very often go bad. I got a new set of chrome lug nuts. And apparently the starter solenoid has been an issue before. There's a used one here, but there's also a new old stock AC Delco one. So between those and the bits that I've got, we should be able to get on the road and get home. Right now we're getting some tires and wheels. The guys went and found me a set of wheels, so we'll see how that goes. All right, well, we found a set of wheels. They're actually chrome. They're wore out chrome, but they're chrome. We got a tire store literally down the street. He's got 4 new tires, he's putting them on, and we're gonna get that done, and then we're pretty much ready to hit the road. We're gonna go stop at Walmart, get some cleaning supplies for the interior. I accidentally slid across the seat by the table, and
Quite dusty.
oh my God. But the fabric underneath the dust looks really good. I was surprised.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna load everything up. We're gonna go to Walmart. We're gonna get some cleaning supplies. We're gonna get some Rain-X. I wanna stop at a Napa store out of town. The last spare part that I would like to have that I don't is a hydraulic clutch slave. They leak. I can shift without a clutch. I'd rather not do it. So I'm also gonna see if I can find something for the tail light, because we've got 2 tail lights, single bulbs each. One of them, the red lens, is completely gone. So I don't know, maybe we just won't drive at night. We'll see.